Alright, so now with that, let's hop right into the next question. Okay, so we have here determine whether the following pairs of elements can form ionic compounds. So this one is kind of, we've literally already gone through this already, as long as you're paying attention to the earlier part of the video. If you're interested in only answering this question, for example, though, we know as review, ionic compound is when it's a metallic, so metal, and non-metal bond together. Molecular compound are non-metal and non-metal, and that right there is a covalent bond, and this is ionic bond. And one that we don't really discuss as the last type, which is more rare or just not as explored in most chemistry teachings, is metallic compounds, which, if you guessed it, is just metal and metal, and that's a metallic bond. So ionic, covalent, and metallic bond. This is just how I write it. They obviously look quite different when you actually try to show like its valence structure and everything, but this is just the basis of what we go by. So now with this question, we then again refer back to our periodic table to make it easier. But first, let's write down what we're dealing with. So we have oxygen and calcium, sulfur and bromide, oops, sulfur just an S, and bromide, lithium, Li, and fluorine, lithium again, and calcium, nickel, and chlorine, and the last one, chlorine and sodium. So now let's go to our periodic table. So oxygen and calcium. Calcium is an alkali metal. If you remember, we just do the same color coordination. Metal, and this is a non-metal. So oxygen, non-metal. In fact, let's just go through. Calcium, metal. Sulfur, let's see here, is a non-metal. Bromine, also non-metal. Lithium is a metal. Fluorine is a non-metal. Whoops, different colors, haha. Fluorine is a non-metal. Chlorine is a non-metal. Really gotta fix those colors. And sodium is a metal. Okay, nickel is a transition metal, which still counts as a metal. And chlorine, again, we've seen it before, non-metal. Lithium and calcium, we've seen lithium, we've seen calcium, so these are both metals. So now that we've labeled all of them, let's see which ones we can actually box in as an ionic compound. This one, fulfills the requirements. So does this one. So does this one. And funny enough, NaCl, that is actually just salt. And so does this one. So 4 of these 6 fill in the requirements of a metal and a non-metal bonded, which means that those 4 are ionic compounds. Now let's see if we're correct. So calcium and oxygen, they do say it's ionic. Sulfur and bromine, it's just a molecular compound, which is non-ionic. Lithium and fluorine, ionic. Chlorine and sodium, ionic, perfect. Nickel and chlorine, also ionic. And lithium and calcium, both are metals. This will be that metallic compound. Okay? And with that, they're correct. So let me, okay, that's weird. Thank you. So with that, hopefully we've had a good review on what are ionic and molecular compounds.